Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final 2022 show of Washington Live, powered by KCTC. I'm your host, Jaron Rosien. Our producer is Nick Steffens. Our publisher is our guest today, Matt Bryant. Hi, Matt.
Hello.
So happy to have you.
Thanks.
Matt was the first guest, or co-host, really, of Washington Live in 2022. So as a perfect bookend, we'll close it on the same.
There we go. Hopefully you've gotten a lot better over time as things gone. You and Nick have gotten really comfortable and really good at doing this. I've kind of been on the sidelines now, so now I got to catch back up.
I hadn't thought back to that first show until you mention it right now,
right.
And being like nervous.
Right. Yeah.
Which still occasionally happens.
Yeah.
Things can be, when you're sweating and the room is 95 degrees, kind of lose your mind a little. Of course, we're part of the Southeast Iowa Union. If you'd like to advertise on Washington Live, you talk to Julie here at the Journal Building. And we are so happy for our viewers that make it all possible in this closeout show for 2022. We're going to talk about what's happened in the last year in review and do all of the usual stuff. As we speak, it's 32 degrees and cloudy. Nick, you said, what do we expect for the next couple days?
Cloudy and like low 40s.
That's just kind of,
Yeah.
not real.
Nothing special.
Great. Do you have big weekend plans? It's like a new year.
Yeah, gonna head up to Cedar Falls, maybe see some old friends from college, who knows, and hang out with Jade, the usual.
The usual, fair enough. I will do, local events, all work. We have a rehearsal dinner tonight, but then tomorrow at JP's, we're doing prime rib dinner and a jazz combo. As we speak,
I think we'll be there.
I saw your wife sent a message.
Yeah, there you go.
So happy to have you guys. I saw on my Facebook, there's also, as we are going live this moment, a retirement party for Joe Griner. Our longtime recorder at the courthouse is closing out her tenure and is retiring. So congrats to Joe. Let's do the police report. I guess I did make a few marks, but I don't remember what the highlights are.
And I didn't look at them either, so
all right,
it's all going to be new.
We'll work through it.
Let's wing this one.
Oh, I like it. The animals are down a little bit, but a total calls for service 49, 14 in traffic, 6 in public service, 4 arrest warrants, 3 burglary, 2 fire, 2 suspicious activity, 2s and 1s for the rest of the list. There's only 1 animal on here at the very bottom, and I think I marked down that deer. I've been kind of keeping track. Let's see, from our first day, we had a caller that advised their vehicle was broken into the night of 12/27 at 5 minutes after midnight. They have video footage of 2 subjects going through their vehicle. 102 responded, report to be filed. Of course, we talked about this. You have to lock your vehicles.
Right. Well, that's kind of thing, isn't it? There's a kind of a rash of those the past couple of days or last week or something.
Yeah, I have seen them bumping into the report, and then the police Facebook page will do the usual, like the best way to prevent your car from being broken into is to make sure you lock it.
Yeah.
Caller reports someone has been driving through yards and hit a stop sign at East Columbus and Grant. A license plate was located in the roadway. 927 advised the license plate located was not the vehicle responsible. This is on the east side of the county in Crawfordsville, where they were unsupervised.
Where they apparently have just random license plates lying around the street.
You'll have that.
Yeah.
Here in Wellman, on the northwest side of the county, caller reports the son's Chevy Impala was sideswiped by a white SUV, possibly a Suburban, by Dollar General. He has no injuries. 927 responded and was unable to locate the suspect vehicle in the area where it was last seen. There's very minimal damage to the vehicle. Now, I think that's most impressive, that you can sideswipe a vehicle and do minimal damage.
Right. With a Suburban.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Well, it kind of reminds me of that one person that said there was a dog attack but with no injuries, where it's like, is it still...
Or the highlight for me was the 2 guys in the pickup lane at the middle school where the license plate, remember, they were like arguing and they wouldn't exchange information.
Oh, yeah.
all that shenanigan. What else do we have on the first day? Report of a possible water main break. 104 responded and located the break. City maintenance was notified and will respond. There was a really bad water main break in the apartment complex by the high school.
Oh, yeah?
The one on South Avenue E, that was the call. There was like a maintenance issue. One of the apartments was being worked on. The heat was off. The sprinkler broke and flooded many apartments.
As cold as it was last week, it's almost inevitable that had happened somewhere, right?
In Columbus Junction, we had the report of someone that stole his sweatpants and a sweatshirt. 9219 spoke with the reporting party documentation. And then just up the road, we had the report of a semi-trailer on fire. The driver disconnected the truck from the trailer and got it pulled away from the trailer. Riverside Fire, Adam 55. A few county officers responded, fire extinguished, and Bulltown responded for the tow. That was the highlights from day one. Let's see day two before we go to break, and then talk paper. We have a subject walking southbound on Highway 218, no vehicles in the area, wearing a brown tan coat and jeans, has a beard. Several more callers advised he was laying in the median near the G36 southbound exit. 9210 11 Iowa Highway Patrol 353 9211 located the subject, who refused to identify himself. Advised to stay off the road. Would you like to read between the lines here?
Well, I think he got a little tired and took a nap.
Yeah.
It sounds like he was walking a long ways.
Sound of traffic is soothing sometimes for.
That is true.
Right?
When I would ask so growing up, I had a dog named Doofus, and apparently the dog before Doofus was a gift to my parents, a beautiful, purebred, like golden retriever, and it was like a fancy dog, versus this mutt that lived forever. The fancy dog would sun itself on the yellow striped lines of the highway.
Oh, geez.
On G26 is where I grew up. No, G36, actually, yeah. Yeah, it got hit. It died.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask how the story ended.
Apparently, this was before my time. All right. Lexington Boulevard, this is the jail. A subject being housed for Polk County. Basically, I noticed this name. His name was Jaron, not in jail. But this Jaron was arrested, and this Jaron also had many other arrests on his warrants out, spelled differently. We also have reports of a fight in front of a residence. No weapons. City officers responded. Subjects had already separated. This was a family dispute between brothers, and neither wished to pursue charges, and no one appeared to have any injuries. They were just pushing each other.
Yeah, that's what brothers do.
Yeah, my brother-in-law's a twin, and they're trying to set good examples for their children, like telling each other not to hit while they're like fighting.
Well, yeah.
That's like the weird thing, having an older brother, and then like now that we're in our 20s, like the family, Christmas together, when like 10 years ago we were beating the crap out of each other.
Do you still get physical?
No, like that's the thing. Like now it's completely fine. Like you wouldn't even know that we used to like throw bare knuckle punches at each other.
Oh, well, Merry Christmas. Like a little violence. We had the deer traffic accident. We have another wanderer. Caller reports a male subject walking north in the median on Highway 218. He's wearing no shirt or shoes. It was a beautiful day.
I was going to say, it was 60 degrees out. That's probably why everyone's just wandering.
Which, if you do the math, I think, is that a 100-degree swing? Because I had 65 degrees on my truck.
I saw that somewhere else, that between last week and this, like in 5 days, is a 100-day swing or something, like a 100-degree swing.
With wind chill, yeah.
Wow.
So this staggering man was in the fast lane of the highway at one point. 9217 responded. The subject requested medical, and they will now be at the Ainsworth Fire Hall. Units that responded, Adam 58 transported the subject to the county hospital. So I'm glad that person got the help they needed.
Yeah.
No shoes. Yep. Another weird caller requests an officer to check the area around her neighborhood. She heard there was someone going along the street checking car doors. No description available. 104 and 110 responded, checked the area, found no one around any vehicles.
Maybe he was trying to help with the string of car burglaries. He was just making sure everyone was locked.
Right.
Helping the community.
That is
benefit of the doubt.
An altruistic option. On East Polk, this is the hospital again. Caller called in the hospital saying that they are refusing to treat them. 105 and 19 both responded and gave the caller their options. I'm not sure what the deal would be there.
Yeah.
It was a little worse on Westview Drive. This is the hotel or motel where people have broken in. 104, 105, 109, and 110 responded. Initially unable to locate. The caller did call back and request medical. That responded. No transport. There was an arrest for OWI first offense. Local charges also filed for interference with official acts resulting in bodily injury. Detainer placed with Muscatine County. And then we have another closeout at East Polk. Request an officer for a disorderly subject. That concludes the police report. There was a lot of activity. Let's hope that it's a little calmer, as this is New Year's Eve. We have New Year's Eve, and I believe our next show will be on Wednesday the 4th, so we'll have a little pause. I'll keep an eye on things to report back to you all of the excitement that occurs between now and then. On this next episode of Washington Live, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll talk with Matt Bryant about what's happened over the last year. We'll see you after the break.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Hospice isn't a place, it's a type of care that focuses on living. Servicing a 7-county area, the Hospice of Washington County staff of nurses, social work, hospice aides, spiritual and grief support, volunteers, music and massage therapists are able to provide free end-of-life care where the patient lives. We write wills, give consent for organ donation, but rarely is there a plan for what we would want the final phase of our lives. At Hospice of Washington County, we encourage our patients to be in charge of their healthcare decisions while maintaining quality of life.
Family owned and operated by Andy and Sarah Ross. Ross Auto has been your vehicle repair and maintenance headquarters since 1935. We specialize in all makes of cars and light-duty trucks. With our variety of available services, let us help you keep rolling and your vehicle operating efficiently. Services include general auto repair, alignments, brakes, fuel injection, and more. Schedule your appointment today at 319-653-5656. That's 319-653-5656.
You know, it's not a question of what all you have and so on with your life. It's who is in your life and how much you care for them and how much they care for you. And Tammy definitely cares.
Hi, Andrea.
Hey, Todd.
How come you can't hear a pterodactyl going to the bathroom?
I don't know.
Because the P is silent.
Welcome back to Washington Live, powered by KCTC. I am Jaron, that's Nick, and our publisher, Matt, is with us today. Hey, Matt.
Hello.
Well, we're going to talk paper. On break, we started talking about movies, so we might veer into favorite movies of 2022 or all time if we, but before we get into the pop culture topic, we'll maybe do a little bit more of the professional topic. Matt, this last year has been a big year.
It has been crazy. Good, crazy, but crazy.
Yeah, what are the highlights? So this is the Journal, but now the Southeast Iowa Union,
right,
owned by the Cedar Rapids Gazette.
Yeah, technically owned by Foliance is our parent company, but yeah, it's owned by the Gazette would be the most common. People know that, recognize that more than anything, right?
And there's been some big moves happening.
Yep.
Tell us about them.
Well, it started actually in May. We got the opportunity to acquire the Clarion Plainsman, which is kind of Richland Packwood.
Okay.
So down in that area, so as you all know, it's between, basically between here and Fairfield, which is just right in our footprint anyway, right? So we acquired that in May, the middle of May. And in that whole process, actually, we were already working on the Washington Live project.
I'm like, this is deja vu. We were going live at the same time, and that was like a secret.
Yeah, no. The secret is coming in a minute. The Clarion was already done.
All right.
So the Clarion, we started doing that one in May. Of course, this show launched in June, end of June. I think actually June 20th. And the reason why I know that is I think it was my anniversary.
You tell me. I know.
Yeah,
It's June 20th.
It was June 20th because it was my anniversary, and I remember getting on here and I scored big points because on the first show I got to mention happy anniversary.
Perfect.
So yeah, score
So
me.
it's like your half birthday. Then,
kind of. Right. So this show launched June 20th, but of course we'd been working on this for a while, and as we talked in that first show, started talking to you about this 2 years ago almost, right?
Just about.
And then it took a while to find Nick. I think we found the right person, but it took a minute for us to get there. So anyway, this started in June, but Clarion was already on board. We started this, and of course, since we've launched Washington Live. We have Newsbreak. We have the Coaches Show that Todd Patterson does with Brent Van Welden. We have our Sports Talk Show, which is ours two sports reporters, Andy Kretzinger and Hunter Mueller. And so
it's branched out,
yes.
as our viewers well know.
And we're right now looking at trying to do some more things with Mount Pleasant and Fairfield. We should be on a different channel. We got Washington Live channel. We'll have a Mount Pleasant Live and do some different stuff. But for the purposes here, so this is going and growing, and actually in 2 weeks we're going to do our first live sporting event.
The wrestling meet.
We're going to do the wrestling meet. We're going to broadcast live from the wrestling meet. We have somebody lined up to
Will you be involved with this, Nick?
Yeah, I'll be doing all of this
stuff.
just
None of
at
this-
high school.
None of this happens without Nick pushing the buttons on
Oh,
this
that's
stuff.
kind of fun.
So yeah,
I'll miss it. I also want to come.
So we'll have the wrestling meet, and actually we did the live with the candidates forum in November too. So that was our first remote, right? Our first and only at this point.
Okay.
Except for Nick did news break from his house the other day. So
yeah. That was us.
Which I did appreciate. I clicked on for that.
Yeah, it was very weird doing it, and I felt Jade was in like the other room, and I just felt judged because I'm just talking to a camera like a crazy person in my office.
Well done. Way to pivot and do what you need to do.
yeah. So this has been great, and it's going and growing, and so I'll take this opportunity to say thank you to everybody that's watching, because it doesn't happen without all of you, right? So.
Tell me the secret. And so far for papers, and it makes sense. You have to pivot and adapt and survive, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm hearing.
So-
this is a way of like adapting and surviving.
So it's interesting because we got Clarion, and Clarion kind of, frankly, it stumbled into our lap, right? It's in our neighborhood. The people that owned it before had bought a group of papers and said, this one doesn't really fit with the group that we're in. Would you be interested? And so we did that. So it kind of stumbled to us, right?
Okay.
Well, after we did that, word kind of got out that, hey, the Gazette, Southeast Iowa Union is kind of buying papers. So we got approached about another group of papers, actually, Marengo, Williamsburg, Belle Plaine, and Poweshiek County, which is really
Is that one paper, or those are all different
four
papers?
different papers.
So Marengo, Williamsburg,
Belle Plaine.
Belle Plaine, all right.
And then Poweshiek County, which is really kind of the eastern part of Poweshiek County, which is kind of Brooklyn, Montezuma area.
And that doesn't really fit in with the Clarion, right?
Nope.
So
Those
that's
are
a separate group.
Those are separate, and then as we're going through that process, so we acquired those in August. So that would have been the discussion that we were having. That was secret when we started this.
Okay.
But we acquired those in August, or we started taking on those in August. And then in that process of vetting those things out, we actually found another paper that was in Marengo that would have been our competition, that we didn't know about. They were actually kind of flying under the radar, but they were in the Marengo, Iowa County area.
All right.
And weird, dumb luck, they didn't know we were looking at these other papers. We didn't really know about them, and all of a sudden, through a mutual friend, they said, hey, you interested in looking at this paper? And we're like, absolutely.
So I can't help but be devil's advocate and think about like antitrust laws or whatever it is about competition in the marketplace. And, if you own too much of like cell phone companies, for instance, if
Yep.
there's a merger that's being looked at,
Yep.
it has to go through like the FCC, right?
Yep.
But this is not that.
This is not that. We're not controlled by that. We're not. That's not a thing.
So it's good old
There-
capitalism and
Yep.
enterprise and freedom and the whole
and capitalism, enterprise, all that stuff. But really, it was opportunity just kind of presented itself.
Interesting.
And we weren't really looking. It just kind of one thing led to another, and there we go. So what we did with that is that's kind of its own little group. So we have the Southeast Iowa Union, and we now are calling that the Central Iowa Union.
Central Iowa Union.
So that's the Marengo, Williamsburg, Belle Plaine, Poweshiek County, and then we have a shopper there too.
Did you combine your two Marengos then?
No, and we don't know if we're going to. That's a question.
Well, that's
for
kind of
down
neat,
the
but
road.
you can kind of intentionally not compete them against each other.
So we're trying to not compete them against each other. We're trying to differentiate the content. There's a couple different strategies we have with that. It could be that the one paper. So the one paper is really more of a regional paper. So it's more of I would say a countywide paper. It's called the Hometown Current, and it really already gets into Belle Plaine, Marengo, and Williamsburg as one paper. The other papers, the actual Belle Plaine, Marengo, and Williamsburg papers, are pretty much isolated to their communities. So there's different things that we can do with them. And I don't know. I won't get too deep into the woods on all that, but
No, it's curious.
Yeah.
It made me think. It kind of leads into my next question about like what you do and what a publisher does. So what is your job in the mix of, you have all of these acquisitions, you're making decisions. What are you doing? What's
So
your day-to-day?
my mother-in-law asked my wife that question. She goes, "What does a publisher do?" And my answer always is, "Well, I just play solitaire a lot. Hire good people and let them do what they do, right?" So basically, I oversee. So I'm responsible for the bottom line. So,
Okay.
we have to make budget. We have a budget. I have to set the budget. I kind of...
Well, I guess our jobs depend on that.
Right.
I mean, on that
exactly. And so I'm really heavy into the advertising side of things, mainly because that's where the revenue is, or most of the revenue is. So I work a lot with the advertising. But with the Clarion, it's interesting because they're right in our footprint. So a lot of the same people that are doing the Southeast Iowa Union are also doing the Clarion thing.
Okay.
With the Central Iowa Union properties up there, they're on their own and they're not part of our ecosystem.
They're totally separate.
And they're getting into our ecosystem. But anyway, they're not familiar with us. So I spent a lot of time in Marengo over the past 4 or 5 months.
So that's where your miles are going down. You're up into that area.
Because we have an office in Marengo. We don't have an office in all those communities. We have one office in Marengo.
Sure.
So I spent a lot of time in Marengo and trying to get them, still working through trying to get them acclimated and into our systems, and so they're part of the bigger team, right? So
I've ridden some horses around Marengo. That's where the horseback riding started.
Oh, really?
When I had my
Which we still have not touched on.
I know, we're saving that one. I had a dishonorable dismount, I think is what we call that. I rode like 15 times that year, but right in the Marengo area. Otherwise, I wouldn't know. And we did some trail riding and would go right through Marengo.
Well, the latest thing about
very
Marengo is
pretty.
that they had that big explosion there just a couple weeks ago.
Oh, of course, yeah. We sent a foam trailer from here.
Yep. So that's the latest big news from Marengo.
Well, that is a big deal.
Yep.
I'm glad that there were no fatalities.
No. There's apparently 1 or 2 that were pretty seriously injured, but they're not fatal.
Yeah, that's scary. That's scary stuff.
Yep.
Before we go to break, and then maybe when we come back, we'll do the birthday game, which will be fun to play. We might talk about some 2022 movies that were favorites. If you have a favorite movie that you've seen, I'd love to hear about it. I have a couple thoughts. We'll try to avoid spoilers. But before we do that, Matt, with the job that we just discussed, what is the most challenging part? What is the most satisfying part, or the easiest or rewarding? So hardest, and I guess some of that could overlap, but what crosses your mind for?
Well, some days I have really bad runs in solitaire where I lose lots in a row, and that sucks.
And that's terrible, yeah.
I hate that.
The bosses that are watching, I don't think they believe it. I know you're working harder than that.
So, as I said a long time ago, and I'm not going to get too backtracking, is, my family's been doing the newspaper thing for a really long time.
Yes.
For over 100 years, somebody in my family's been doing this. So this is what I do, and I love this. I love shiny new things. So by acquiring these new papers, starting the Washington Live, and doing these new projects, this is the kind of stuff that keeps me going. I like new projects, right?
So the challenge.
I love the challenge.
You like the challenge, yeah.
But at the same time, we have the Central Iowa group, especially, are doing great. But it's learning everything new and trying to walk them through that, and frankly, they're resistant to that because it's a change from what they're used to, and as we all know, not everybody appreciates change.
This is true.
So we're walking through that process, and we'll get there. But it is challenging, and I think it's fair to say that if they were sitting here saying, they'd say it's challenging as well. So I don't think I'm talking out of school when I say that. But
makes sense.
There are challenges. It's a lot of work. I knew it was going to be a lot of work when we took this on. It will all get settled out, but for right now, just trying to get acclimated and get going, it's just...
Well, I remember you saying that at the beginning, I was asking about your schedule, and you're like, well, I asked for it. I wanted this.
Yep,
this
that's
is
exactly right.
what you wanted to do.
Yep, it's a lot right now. It will level out, and it'll all be good.
Well, I appreciate your work ethic. Well, it depends on who you ask. I also work hard, but then some of my hard work is motivated by my desire to be lazy. I enjoy downtime.
Yeah.
I have to get so many things done in order to have that downtime, but I love a little...
I just listened to a different radio show, I don't know, yesterday or today. They saw somewhere a list of the worst habits that are worst for you but are socially acceptable.
And what did they cover?
Workaholic.
Oh, okay.
That kind of stuff.
That's an acceptable habit, but it's not necessarily good for you.
But it's not really good for your overall mental health, right? And there was a whole list of them. I can't remember what they are now, but...
that could fall into New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
I think we could put that on the topic for our 2023 show, our first one. We'll talk about our goals.
That sounds good.
Hey, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll pick up where we left off. We'll play the birthday game. We'll mention a couple quality movies that we've seen this year, if you have had time to have downtime. We'll see you on Washington Live right after this break.
Since 1905, Kelowna Cooperative Technology Company has helped our community stay connected with the latest advancements in clear, dependable telecommunications services. KCTC provides rural Iowans with access to high-speed fiber internet, as well as phone, television, computer repair, and cybersecurity solutions. We're also proud supporters of local organizations and area schools within the community. KCTC, keeping Kelowna connected.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
I met Tammy about 20 years ago when her daughter was in Special Olympics and I was coaching. Told me that she was into doing senior benefits. We became even closer friends. She cares about everybody, especially the seniors. So call her.
Welcome back to Washington Live, powered by KCTC, our 2022 closeout show. I'm Jaron, this is Nick, and our publisher Matt is joining us today. Before we play the birthday game, if you have a birthday shout out, stick it in the chat. You can shoot us an email. Before we do that, highlight of movies. We were talking a bit about Avatar. I'm planning on seeing it on Monday. I'm going in with the low expectations because then I will enjoy it. Because it's like I feel like it's pop culture rite of passage. The special effects are supposed to be good.
Well, I heard that it already made $1 billion and it still hasn't recouped its budget yet.
I believe that.
Yeah.
But so he was on a podcast that I listened to, James Cameron, Sigourney Weaver, talking about their filming because they filmed film 2 and 3. And they'll take a break and then they'll film 4 and 5.
Yeah.
They train for like a year. They have to do underwater breathing. It's just like insane. They don't do any. There's no half measures.
Right.
So for that reason,
well, James Cameron's got 3 of the top 5 grossing films ever.
There's a thing there, isn't there?
Yeah,
he's got something.
He's got it figured out.
Titanic.
The only
born when Titanic came out?
I think it might have come out the year I was born.
Okay.
But I do remember it being on 2 separate VHS because it was so long. But
I remember seeing it in grade school, and we had to have like special permission from the parents because of the.
Right.
Yeah. There was a scene that required.
I'll look out when it
consent.
It's 2 years older than I am. Never mind. It came out in 1997.
So I think we've all seen the Knives Out mystery Glass Onion.
Yeah.
Didn't you get in trouble for something, or what was your conversation about this?
Well, it was. I was going to talk about it on the last show since we had a banter episode, and I saw people were complaining about it on Twitter, so I didn't want to join in on the firestorm of.
And what were the complaints focused around?
Just people saw themselves in the characters that were portrayed negatively, and then they got mad about it instead of being introspective and being like, why am I being made fun of in this movie?
Oh, so, like Joe Rogan?
Yeah, like the Joe Rogan bros, the people who love Elon Musk like a weird amount, who I've already talked about negatively on the show. So
I see what you're saying. Yeah, there was a bit of that. You could tell there was some some cultural casting. So what I was going to recommend is Emily the Thief, which is Aubrey Plaza. And it's kind of one of those movies that you cheer for the bad guy. Like she's not totally above board, but she's still kind of the character you love. Your favorite of the year?
My favorite of the year is not very far outside the box. Is Top Gun. I really enjoyed that movie, but it's not getting too original.
I saw that in the theater. It's well done.
I did too. I liked it. I thought it was good.
It has all the things.
It has all the things. It has all the things.
Favorite movie of all time? You said you have that too?
Well, so I have a couple, but the one I just watched recently I'll pull it up every now and again is Young Guns with Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen and Kiefer Sutherland.
I know all those actors. I've not seen
it's a
that
good
film.
movie.
It's a good movie. It's a Western. It's Billy the Kid. Emilio Estevez is Billy the Kid.
All right.
Fun,
And yeah.
fun fact,
I'll put that on my list.
Ab Saunders from Mount Pleasant rode in Billy the Kid's gang.
Is that right?
In that Young Guns, it's about the Lincoln County regulators
Yeah, right.
and their battle. Actually, no, he was he was on the other end. I think he was a Lincoln County regulator.
Okay.
And was against Billy the Kid during that shootout.
That didn't go so well.
No, it didn't.
I will have to watch
It's a
this.
fun little local history.
It's old. It's from the 80s. It's an old movie, but it's good.
No, I like some of those classics.
Yeah.
So my favorite of all time is weirdly in the mix of an older. I think it's 90s. The Long Kiss Goodnight with Samuel L. Jackson and Gina Davis. Have you seen this film?
I don't think I've even heard of it.
I lose my mind. It's one that I can just watch over and over. She's like a school teacher that has amnesia because of whatever, but she gets her head knocked, and then it all starts coming back, and she's an assassin.
Okay.
All right then.
And she's being hunted, and it just has all of the things that I kind of like. It's dumb, but I think I'm a little off track. Is there any other films that we need to cover?
My favorite movie of all time
Yes.
is The Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling, Russell Crowe. Came out in 2016, 17. It flopped at the box office, which is unfortunate, but it's hilarious. Not a movie you watch with the family, but still a great movie.
It looks like that is on Netflix.
Yes, they just put
What's
it
it
on this
called?
year. The Nice
Nice
Guys.
Guys.
The Nice Guys.
All right, I'll put that on the list as well. I don't know where to stream Young Guns yet, but I'll.
You can't. I rented it. I've looked on all the services and can't find it, and I think I ended up. Actually, I went through Prime. If you have Prime, and then Prime has a thing with Freevee, whatever. You have to watch ads in it, but.
Oh yeah, it looks like it is on Prime Video.
Yep.
Yeah. 6 young men hired to guard an Englishman's ranch against a mob in 1870s Mexico, New Mexico.
Yeah, it's Billy the Kid.
That's Billy the Kid. Gotcha. Of course, Yellowstone is a big one. It's not a movie, but the spin-offs, 1893, 1929.
Yeah.
How many more years?
Did you get into any of these?
I really didn't. I know I need to go back. There was like an episode on it. My grandma's like during Old Threshers back in Labor Day, and I was like just locked in on the screen, but I have not gone back and again.
But aren't they like? I know Yellowstone's on Paramount on regular TV, but I think the other ones are on Paramount Plus or
See, I don't
aren't
want
they?
I can't keep track. I know that I don't have cable at my home, so therefore I can't afford the streaming services, and I have most of them.
Yeah, I don't
It's not
have
good.
Paramount.
I'm still bumming my mom's Netflix. So
I have
Between
YouTube.
that,
I have
Apple
YouTube.
TV, Showtime, Paramount, Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus, HBO.
I have,
Well, that was-
I have
yeah.
most of those plus YouTube TV.
Oh,
so.
Yeah.
So we do the right amount of sharing with some family friends, like what we'll pay for, and vice versa.
I used my ex's HBO Max for longer than I probably should have, but then she canceled her subscription. It was a bad day. I was in the middle of
Cancel-
Sopranos and everything.
Cancel you, bud.
Exactly.
Well, that's what sharing is caring. Do we have anything else before we close out with our birthday game?
I don't believe so.
Well, I have a happy belated birthday to Jordan Crone, who was yesterday. And today, my former boss and Cafe Dodici co-owner, Lorraine Williams, has a birthday. So happy birthday to Jordan and Lorraine.
It's my sister Claire's birthday tomorrow. She's a New Year's Eve baby.
Happy early birthday to Claire. Perfect. Hey, put us through the paces with the birthday game as we close out our 2022 show.
All right, let's see if, okay. So first up, I'm not going to explain the rules. We all know them. First up is LeBron James. There's a lot of sport. If you want to have a kid that's athletically gifted, apparently give birth on December 30th because there was a lot of athletes.
Oh, yeah, we have jocks aplenty. Matt, would you like to go first? Do you know his age?
Well, I thought I heard it the other. He might be 38, but I think I heard that, so that might be cheating.
Well, I think.
But I might be wrong too. So
I
we'll
think
see.
you are wrong. I think he's got to be older. I'm 38. Surely he's older than that. I was going to say 42.
He is 38.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Yeah.
He's fully grown.
Yeah, he's always kind of looked old. Like I think even he's in the NBA since he was 18, so it has been 20 years.
20 years, wow.
But he's
So
just
I
like
guess-
always kind of had like a receding hairline since he was like 23,
I
like
guess
me.
41, right? I got a point.
You said 42. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
did I?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry to bug you to you.
Well, I want to take half point because I think I heard that.
No,
so.
that's common knowledge works. All right, we have Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
Well, I guess I'm first, and I don't even know. All right, I feel like I did in pickleball this morning when I was defeated early. Let's see here. 44.
Yeah.
Is he like almost in his 50s?
I don't think he's. I'm gonna go 42, but I may be going the wrong way.
He is 47, so Jaron, you get a point. Just barely. So we're at 1 to 2 right now.
All right.
Next up, we have Tyrese Gibson from the Fast and Furious movies. Had to throw in an actor and not just do all sports.
I don't have a clue.
Give her a shot.
41.
And I'll
41?
say 42.
So you have 41 and 42. He is 44, so you guys both get a point on this one.
All right. So it's 3 to 2 with
where's
one
my-
more birthday.
Where's my cursor at? Here it is.
Did you get your images figured out?
No, it's being really dumb. They updated it. Here he is.
All
Here's It's really small.
So Sandy
Koufax, the legendary
his-
Dodgers pitcher.
All right. And this is a current picture?
Yes, that was when he was honored.
Do you know what year he was born?
Good one. Well, I'll give you a hint. In the 1965 World Series, he was supposed to be the starting pitcher, but Game 1 landed on Yom Kippur, and since he was Jewish, he could not start. So if he was pitching in the 1965 World
All right,
Series.
so we'll call him 20 at 1965. So I'll guess he's born in 45, which means 50, 73. I'll say 77 years old.
I'm gonna go 81.
He is actually 87.
Oh,
But he still looks really good for
He was
87.
older in 1965 then.
Yeah.
I was putting him at 20. He was obviously like 30.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, I think you take the win today.
I'm taking the
Congratulations.
trophy.
Yeah, put the trophy
Taking
in.
the trophy.
You bought him,
You
so.
did buy them. They're all yours. Well, thank you for doing a nice bookend for Washington Live.
No problem. Hey, and thank you guys. You guys have done a great job. And this kind of, as we said at the very beginning, this is kind of a vision I had, and you guys have carried that vision on well. So I appreciate you guys too.
Well, it's been a privilege. We couldn't do it without the full team. We couldn't do it without our co-hosts and our hosts of our other spin-off shows. So happy for our viewers that really make it all possible as well.
Absolutely.
Have a happy new year. Thank you for watching Washington Live. We'll see you in 2020.